On May 15th, 2004, sporting history was made in Zurich.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup will be organized in South Africa.
FIFA President Sepp Blatter's announcement turned the dreams of South Africa's people into reality. After 7 years of campaigning, they stood tall as the first African nation to host the World Cup. Game On leaves no stone unturned on the road to the 2010 World Cup.
I think we've proved to the world that we are a country that must be counted on when we talk about countries that can do wonders.
Discover how sport can unite a nation. This is the story of South Africa's incredible journey to host the World Cup. FIFA made a landmark decision that the 2010 World Cup would be hosted on the African continent.
This is the will of the executive committee, or let's say by the president, to say we have to go to Africa. And why to Africa? To give back something to Africa. And now we are here, and we trust Africa. You trust Africa. Soccerex trust Africa. International audience here, you trust Africa. And we will have a wonderful World Cup. This is the story of my love to Africa, and that's why I'm so happy to be here today.
The Rainbow Nation suffered an agonizing one-vote defeat to Germany in their 2006 World Cup bid. Then South Africa's bid committee, led by Danny Jordaan, mounted another campaign for the 2010 FIFA World Cup. It was Danny's mission to convince FIFA that his nation had no peer in Africa and once again showcase their ability to host the Cup.
FIFA must have been impressed because we showed them 8 stadia, which is the minimum requirement of FIFA. 3 stadia to be upgraded, that will give us 11, and 3 new stadia, which will bring us up to 14. We showed them the cities, the hotels, the road infrastructure, rail infrastructure, the airports. Hospital was a major issue that they were interested in, the extent to which South Africa would be able to provide for the health requirements of the event.
During the bidding process, there was overwhelming optimism amongst the South African public.
I think our chances are very good, and in fact, to say even more, I think that they're excellent. There's no reason why we shouldn't get the bid.
We were almost cheated out of the World Cup bid for the current one, I believe. And by that one vote of that one New Zealander. So I believe that really needs to come to Africa, and South Africa is the country.
Now it's democracy. It must be shown. We must win the World Cup.
Now we're going to make it. Our country is so good. It's so good. We're going to host this World Cup, and it's going to be successful.
South Africa started the bidding process as one of 5 African nations. But their chances improved when Nigeria dropped out early in the campaign. Then in Zurich, just prior to the announcement of the winning bid, Tunisia withdrew from the race and Libya was disqualified, leaving South Africa with just 2 rival bidding countries, Morocco and Egypt.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup will be organized in South Africa.
After the heartbreaking loss in 2002, this time South Africa received 14 votes to Morocco's 10, with Egypt not receiving any votes.
We have done everything that was asked and more. We've worked hard on our bid book and our tech tour in our final presentation. Then we brought our former President Nelson Mandela, Archbishop Tutu, our former President F.W. de Klerk, and our own head of state, President Thabo Mbeki. It's been 7 long years, very difficult, very hard, but our nation is celebrating back home.
Spontaneous celebrations erupted in the streets of Pretoria. And in Soweto Outdoor Cultural Bowl, just outside Johannesburg, the announcement was broadcast on a big screen. People of all races and religions danced and sang together as one, celebrating the pride of a nation that won the right to host the biggest single sport event in the world.
I think I can fly! I feel like flying!
In Cape Town, people took to the streets marching and waving signs, not in protest, but a march of jubilation.
South Africa! We're gonna win the World Cup! Thank you, Madiba! Thank you, Madiba! Viva South Africa, viva!
And in Pretoria, President Thabo Mbeki joined the celebrations and spoke to the nation.
Yesterday we were in Zurich and addressed the President and the Executive Committee of FIFA. And today they took the correct decision. So for all of us, all our people right through the country and all Africans throughout the continent, I think it's time now that we go out and celebrate.
The nation continued to celebrate as the successful South African delegation was welcomed home from Zurich. Danny Jordaan, leader of the South Africa World Cup bid, was on an emotional high as he was cheered and embraced by hundreds of local fans.
This is a wonderful moment, not only for the few of us on the bid committee and in SAFA, but for the entire nation. We always said this is a project of hope for the nation.
These scenes of euphoria are inspiring, but to truly appreciate South Africa's journey to this moment in time, one must remember where they came from and the incredible man that led them here. Nelson Mandela was a leading member of the African National Congress, the ANC. The ANC opposed South Africa's white minority government and its policy of racial separation, known as apartheid.
It is useless and futile for us to continue talking peace and non-violence against a government whose reply is only savage attacks on an unarmed and defenseless people.
Mandela was captured and jailed in 1962, and in 1964 he was convicted of treason and sentenced to life in prison. He began serving the sentence on Robben Island near Cape Town and became a worldwide symbol of resistance to racism. After 27 years, South African President F.W. de Klerk finally released Mandela in 1990. Later, he and de Klerk shared the Nobel Peace Prize. Mandela was elected the country's president in 1994. He received great support from world leaders during his campaign to dismantle apartheid.
They put a lot of pressure on the South African regime to abandon apartheid. Eventually, we won that battle.
He served as president until 1999, when his deputy, Thabo Mbeki, succeeded him. In more recent years, Mandela has been active in a diplomatic role for South Africa. These duties included petitioning FIFA for the right to host the 2010 World Cup. FIFA President Sepp Blatter joined President Thabo Mbeki at the official ceremony celebrating the start of construction of the South African Football Association headquarters for the 2010 World Cup.
You are going to build a house on African soil
on South African soil, and at the foundation there will be trust and confidence and solid faith into your own country. Then you will start to build the walls. And let's say the walls are on one side is the democracy, and then the other side is solidarity. And then you put a ceiling, and the ceiling is the unity. And this is wonderful to see here in this country how football can unite a people.
But let me say on behalf of the government, we are indeed very, very pleased that we are moving on this matter, because soccer is very central to the life and the future of this country. It's a sport of the people.
South Africa is going through a construction boom in road, rail and stadium work, producing a bright spot in an economy entering its first recession for 17 years. But the budget is blowing out. There has been widespread criticism at escalating costs and concerns over what will happen to the new stadiums when the event is over. But amidst all this, FIFA believes that the 2010 World Cup will have a positive legacy.
This is also an investment into African football. And if I think of all the transportation systems, roads, rail, planes, you have telecommunication systems, we have security. So there's so many aspects which of course cost. But again, the major part of these costs are investment in the future. And I think this is, for me, I think very, very important that the 2010 FIFA World Cup is an investment into the future. And there is a legacy. And there will be a wonderful legacy for this country.
Despite infrastructure improvements, there was widespread pessimism that South Africa would struggle to host a major sporting event of this scale. Danny Jordaan addressed the media in London to quell these fears.
This will be an African World Cup, but this will be a world-class event. And immediately when you say that, it appears that there's a contradiction between it being African and it being world-class. And so we want to show that actually there's no contradiction between it being an African World Cup and it being world-class. The focus has essentially been, and for the media as always in major events, it's focused on the stadium, because you can see whether there's progress or not.
The 2010 World Cup will have 9 host cities and 10 stadiums. 6 of these stadiums are newly built, and the remainder have had significant upgrades. Johannesburg's Soccer City Stadium will host the first and final matches with a capacity of 94,700. South Africa looks to be set to facilitate the hundreds of thousands of fans attending the event. But they will also have many more armchair viewers.
You know, the television figure, the last World Cup was 30 billion, you know, watching the World Cup, watching all the games. So the whole world is focusing South Africa. So that's I think it's a gift from God, you know, to host the World Cup.
South Africa is undergoing major upgrades to facilitate the world's media requirements.
In terms of capability, of course, we're looking at huge upscale levels of reliability, technologies such as our automatic switch transport network.
With hundreds of thousands of tourists and media descending on South Africa in 2010, accommodation and transport hold the keys to a successful event.
We will have 450,000 visitors coming next year for the World Cup. As foreign arrivals, we will have over 3 million people participating. We have enough rooms. The challenge that we have is to get people from where those rooms are to the matches on the day that the matches take place. And that is why we must have in place the bus rapid transit system, and also the high-speed railway system, but also flights to and from those areas where the accommodation is.
When the teams are coming to South Africa, the qualified teams, that some of them, they will, let's say, camp for a few days in another African country. This is a possibility. I also know now, because we had a meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister of Zimbabwe and the Director for Tourism. They want to attract not only teams, they want to attract also the spectators coming from all around the world, and to tell them don't see only South Africa and football, but we are just nearby, come and visit us. This is one of the possibilities this World Cup can offer to the neighboring countries of Africa.
All African countries in Africa will have access to all games of the next FIFA World Cup. There is not a single country in Africa will not have access on free-to-air television to the World Cup games during the World Cup 2010.
Another initiative to share the World Cup experience throughout Africa is the World Cup Trophy Tour. It is scheduled to visit 86 nations, including 53 African countries, on its way from Zurich to Johannesburg. Thrilled Sierra Leoneans welcomed the Cup when it arrived in their town.
Truly, I feel great. I know how many million people fighting to see it. It's a good omen having it in Sierra Leone.
It's wonderful, and it motivates people, especially the youth, because everybody loves football in this country, and I'm very proud.
A grassroots campaign aimed at bringing understanding to the host nation's World Cup experience is My 2010 School Adventure Programme, an initiative of the South African Department of Education. Schools in 9 provinces are being taught the cultural practices of different nations around the world.
We can believe in dreams, dreams that were once dreamt by dreamers.
The school's campaign is aimed at enriching the curriculum. So for instance, if children learning about history of the other countries, that's how they would integrate the Adopt a Nation campaign.
The programme teaches students stories of inspirational figures that have links to Africa.
In Vietnam, and Muhammad Ali was drafted, and he refused to go.
Will make it easier for them to appreciate other countries, to appreciate other histories, to learn more than they would ordinarily have learnt in the classroom.
The Department of Education is also upgrading sports coaching in schools for the next generation of athletes.
I'm excited and want to see the World Cup. I want to play in the next World Cup after 2010. I also want to go to the USA. I wish to be like other football players. You're perceived as somebody special in the community if you're a football player.
In Soweto, Johannesburg, FIFA President Sepp Blatter conducted his first inspection of Soccer City Stadium since construction began.
We have had a lot of problems to bring the World Cup once to Africa. Now we have it here, and you may be ensured that nothing can now be against this World Cup here in South Africa. Nothing but God.
He also denied rumours that FIFA had a fallback plan to allow another country to host the 2010 World Cup if South Africa is not ready.
People are saying, or some of them are saying, we can do it better somewhere else. They cannot, because it will be a wonderful World Cup, I tell you.
Former German captain and coach, now FIFA executive member Franz Beckenbauer, inspected the Greenpoint Stadium being built in Cape Town. Beckenbauer caused a stir in 2006 when he was reported to have said that South Africa's effort was beset by big problems. He later said his comments had been falsely portrayed and was quick to praise Cape Town to the local media.
And I'm very, very happy to be here in this, one of the best and nicest cities in the world, Cape Town. And I feel like home, and to be witness, what's happened behind me, to get a complete new stadium.
When quizzed on what country may win the 2010 World Cup, he was optimistic about Africa's chances.
Good chance, in the first time in the history of the game, an African country will win the World Cup. It's possible. When you see the talent and the quality of the players, most of the players, the talented players, they're playing in Europe, and they have a great education. So bring them all the talents back in the World Cup 2010. And I think there's a good chance for an African country, whoever it is, so to win the World Cup the first time.
Alan Lieblang, head of FIFA's Communications and Public Affairs, was upbeat at his press conference after an inspection tour.
Everything is on time, not only for the constructions but also for the finances. And now we are here to look at access to the stadiums, transportation and accommodation and so on.
The progress made is about 18% of the entire project, and that the project itself will be delivered in April, May of 2009.
South Africa's preparations to host the 2010 World Cup could cost up to 20% more than budgeted.
The spiraling costs in the stadium, of course, this is the unfortunate reality of, on the one hand, the global economic crisis, and then, on the other hand, the increased costs.
Construction workers' willingness to flex their industrial muscles has raised fears that the country's powerful trade unions could prevent South Africa from completing the stadiums in time. Deputy Finance Minister Jabu Moleketi made a passionate speech in a bid to unite the nation.
I think all South Africans, workers, business, ordinary people are excited about the hosting of 2010. But we know that in life, every occurrence has its own challenges. And I think South Africa is mature enough, and we have a labor relations that is mature, will be able to resolve this dispute if and when they arise. But we must not create an impression that all of a sudden there is a threat to South Africa's ability to host and to deliver on 2010.
Durban played host to the preliminary draw. Millions globally tuned in as 169 countries weighed up their chances of competing at the 2010 World Cup. But security became the buzz topic at the event.
Well, yesterday FIFA boss Jerome Falke came out saying that the biggest concern is really the safety and security, and that we need to tackle that because it would be a disaster if there was one single incident.
Two assailants opened fire on the bus carrying Togo's national football squad to the African Cup of Nations tournament in Angola. An assistant coach, press officer and driver were killed. Two players were shot and injured.
FIFA are, like everybody else, perturbed that it happened in the first place and that such an incident actually happened. As you can imagine, football is the most popular sport in the world, and everybody was on their way just to play football. And an incident like this is a tragic incident.
Togo's Prime Minister insisted the team leave the country, sparking concerns over security in South Africa for the 2010 World Cup. The feeling on the streets of Johannesburg was divided.
Already people have a perception about Africa that is not safe, you understand? So if a game that is supposed to bring people together is being disrupted by this, then it means people will think again, coming to Africa is not safe.
I think we are a bit more organized than most African nations. I mean, we are somewhere between the first and the third world, which shows that we have the potential to actually, impact more. We have the potential to actually do better for the football instead of harming it.
I don't think it should affect the World Cup as such because it happened in Angola and it was the Africa Cup of Nations, not the World Cup. So obviously there have been measures put into place to protect people when they come here. So people outside the country should not be freaked out or anything. They should not be scared to come to our country because they'll be safe.
South Africa's record of violent crime is one of the worst in the world. Protecting the tourists and athletes attending the 2010 World Cup is of huge importance for the image and economy of the host nation.
Our country have 9.5 million tourists a year. And on average in December we have more than 800,000 tourists, and we safeguard those tourists. In any case, we've hosted 147 major events in our country, and we never had a single incident. So we are quite confident.
FIFA are not new to dealing with security concerns and know prevention works best.
To make sure that they are not entering into the country and they will not disturb the event. But it could happen. But we are very well aware about who they are and how to stop them or block them.
The South African police force has also been formulating strategies to deal with any problems that may arise.
We're going to approach this in two ways. We're going to approach it a proactive way as well as a reactive way. The proactive measures that we have in place is we're working very closely with Interpol. They are in the process of establishing what is called a dangerous and disruptive person database, which will assist us in identifying people that may pose a potential danger to the tournament as far as organized fighting or hooliganism is concerned. Also, what we're doing is that we're going to ask the countries, the participating countries, who know or have identified people that are related to this type of behavior to assist us in keeping back those potential troublemakers.
We are putting on the street tens of thousands, more police officers, better trained, better equipped.
So I think we really need to portray the hospitality of Africa, the hospitality of South Africa and the people as the main trump cards.
Of all the things I've done before, these are the ones that make my life worth telling.
I've been to a city that never sleeps.
The 2010 World Cup will be the biggest sporting event ever held in Africa, and a successful advertising campaign is critical to making the event a success.
What I'm missing is advertising campaign, publicity, public relation, banners. When we arrive at the airport, FIFA's World Cup, FIFA's Confederations Cup, we are ready. Come and visit us. But not only here in this country, but also in those countries, at least where you know now the teams are already qualified for the World Cup, or the regions. Do something.
The South African Tourism Authority did more than just something.
Take a journey.
They launched this stunning international advertising campaign.
To the place that gave birth to all of humankind. Where the sky is so vast, even 1,000 hills are not too many. A place of such beauty, even God has a window on it. Come and fall in love with a land rich in romance, adventure, and mighty legends.
If we look at tourist arrivals in South Africa over the last few years, we have been doing much better than the global average. We have and we are still outperforming all our direct competitors. People have been coming to South Africa in increasing numbers.
120 heartbeats per minute. 2 million hectares of wilderness. 0 fences.
A stone's throw away from the real Lion King.
So this is your first World Cup, where you can watch the match in the stadium, England versus Argentina, and then 15 minutes later, you can take a walk next to or behind the lions. And depend on your mood on the day, you can engage with the lions.
We are going to deliver the best ever World Cup, and in a in an ambience, this ambiente, the African ambiente, when you are drummers and dreamers and dancers and bring this continent, not only to South Africa, but bring all the continent a little bit in shake, not too much, but a little bit, go in.
South Africans love dancing almost as much as they love soccer. These two passions came together in anticipation of the country hosting the 2010 World Cup. The Diski dance was initially created for an international television advertisement. It is loosely based on South Africans' unique style of soccer moves, and the dance has captured the imagination of the nation. South Africans have been enthusiastically learning the steps, and groups of young dancers have been deployed across the country to teach the public the moves. The dance is also being promoted online.
First movement. Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, here's your soccer ball there. So what you're going to do is this, you go, bam, and then you hold, it comes up. Then all you do is 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, can we all do that? Okay, the first one.
FIFA and the South African Local Organising Committee began a joint inspection tour of 6 of the World Cup 2010 venues after the local media reported that personality differences among officials could affect preparations for the tournament.
We must make this World Cup a success. And we are saying to all South Africans, support us. There's a lot of despondency, there's a lot of hopelessness in this country at this point in time. The World Cup is one event, one project that is giving hope to all of us. Let us not destroy it. That, FIFA at a given time in history, or other people must not find a good excuse of not giving the World Cup to Africa again, because about pettiness of individuals. This World Cup can never fail.
The Vuvuzela is a plastic horn that has been a feature of the local South African football scene for years. Vuvuzelas made the headlines around the world when international broadcasters objected to the monotonous sound of the horns. They were concerned that their commentators' voices would be drowned out and appealed to FIFA to ban the instrument from all venues.
It is a bit noisy, however it's part of your football culture, so I think to ban it from a stadium is a very harsh decision.
Vuvuzela, it can't be taken away, it's what we want in our stadiums.
Later, FIFA President Sepp Blatter simply pointed out that the horns would not be banned.
Sometimes in Europe, stop the Vuvuzelas. Why the hell should we stop the Vuvuzela? Let the Vuvuzela.
Due to all the controversy, business is booming for a company that manufactures vuvuzelas in Cape Town.
The Vuvuzela has actually become the official language of celebration, of celebrating football, because there's so much diversity in our country. And for the foreigners that do come into the country that could maybe not understand those languages, they can understand the language of the Vuvuzela.
The Vuvuzela may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it's going to have a loud presence at the 2010 World Cup. With only 500 days until tournament kickoff, Sepp Blatter was all smiles.
I'm a happy president.
So when we look forward to the next 500 days, in this year specifically, we must deliver the Confederations Cup, must deliver the final draw of the World Cup. We must sell the tickets for both the Confederations Cup and the World Cup, sell hospitality packages, fine-tune our security plan, our transport, accommodation, and all of those plans. So it's a lot of work still to be done. But we are happy and inspired to go on and complete the task.
So I would say that the infrastructure it's okay, and now we have to work on how to make this World Cup, how to give life to this World Cup. So that's the main task we have, Danny Jordaan and myself, with our teams today up to the 14th of June.
Tickets for the 2010 World Cup went on sale on the internet and in bank branches around South Africa. 700,000 tickets were available for purchase out of a total of just over 3 million for the 64 games. Danny Jordaan addressed his staff at FIFA headquarters in South Africa.
The World Cup is going to happen in South Africa, and everything, but everything, will be in place to deliver a wonderful event. And that is an irrevocable undertaking that you are giving to the world, where you have the demand for the tickets far outstripping the supply of tickets. You have to put in a system that everyone has an equal and fair opportunity. We've made specific provision for the socio-economically challenged fans in our country, and therefore we created a special category 4 ticket which will be sold at $20 US, and then we have to make provision for the African fans. But it is a World Cup, and African fans will have to compete with all of the fans throughout the world. And the second part of that is to create fan parks, free access to the fan parks, and there the African fans can celebrate with all the other fans all over the world in what would be an African celebration.
The countdown is on. In exactly 1 year from this day, the eyes of the world will be on the opening game of the 2010 World Cup.
10, 9,
South African President Jacob Zuma, who once played soccer as an apartheid prisoner, started the 1 year countdown fittingly with a kick into a crowd of construction workers at Greenpoint Stadium in Cape Town. This sparked spontaneous celebrations.
Now it's just 1 year before there is a kickoff. I think we've proved to the world that we are a country that must be counted on when we talk about countries that can do wonders.
Well, it's been a long journey, and now those hopes and dreams have become a reality. The stadium in each of the cities is now a reality. We are selling the tickets, the teams are arriving, and this is a dream come true. And so it's quite a happy and rewarding moment.
FIFA's Confederation Cup tournament was vital in gauging South Africa's readiness to host the 2010 World Cup. The day after the final, FIFA President Sepp Blatter gave his assessment of the event using an amusing analogy.
You are on the way to go to the university, but you're just missing a half a point for the university. University would be 8, so I would say you are at 7.5, and 7.5 is if at the beginning of the next activity, and this is the draw, if you get a half point more, then you can go to university. And then at the end of the World Cup 210, I would like to give you the 10, then you are in the Masters.
South African construction workers downed tools all around the nation, halting work on stadiums and the high-speed rail project. The strike was led by the National Union of Mine Workers. They demanded a 13% pay rise for about 70,000 employees.
Well, 2010 is going to benefit all of us. It's not that we are insensitive to the 2010 projects, but that doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice and compromise everything, more especially in the construction industry. We hope that with the engagements that are taking place behind the scenes, then we'll end up coming to an agreement very soon.
In fact, we are saying we are giving them an ultimatum to bring the 13%. That if they are not bringing that 13% in a week's time, it is likely that we will raise the bar to 15% and say it's 15% or we strike until 2011.
The strike put South Africa's preparations into jeopardy. But fortunately, a week later, an agreement was made.
After quite tough and interesting negotiations, the parties to this process are ready and will sign before you an agreement which resolves the dispute. Come on, come on, take that.
I think it's that we are pleased to basically announce that after a very long struggle, the parties have agreed with a percentage increase of 12%. That as from the union, we see that's a big achievement or victory or gain for workers in the construction industry.
The workers concluded their industrial action as they started it, in song. But this time, it had a joyful tone. With construction back underway, the 2010 World Cup looked to be back on track.
This inspection gave us a high comfort level of what's needed. We've indicated that we've had previous inspections in the past where we were looking really at drawings on the table, and then we were starting to see some of the walls develop. Now those walls have paint on them, the floors have the covering on them, can clearly identify where the buses are going to drop off the teams. We can look at how we're going to cater for the spectators as they come to the stadium, and most importantly when everyone leaves, which will happen en masse. So I think this inspection has given us a high level of comfort.
Ireland's controversial qualification loss to France made headlines all around the world. Ireland's World Cup hopes were dashed when French skipper Thierry Henry controlled the ball with his hand before picking out his teammate, who buried a header and booked France's berth into the 2010 World Cup.
Now, naturally, everybody is asking what is fair play, what is not fair play.
There was a request made by the Irish FA when we met them with President Blatter in Zurich.
They have asked, can't we be team number 33 in the World Cup? That's, yeah, they have asked for that, really.
The FIFA president was very clear by saying it's impossible because Ireland will not be invited to play at the World Cup.
Robben Island was the former prison island where Nelson Mandela was held during the apartheid era. It was here that the FIFA's executive committee chose to announce the prize money for the 2010 World Cup.
The champion will receive 30 million, the runner-up 24, the third place 20, the fourth place 18, the fifth to eighth place 14, the 9th to 16th place 9, and the 17th to the 32nd place 8 millions. To all these amounts you have to add 1 million because we will pay immediately, and we have even already transferred the money of $1 million USD, 1 million USD to all 32 teams.
Cape Town got their first taste of World Cup fever as they played host to the World Cup final draw. Thousands gathered in the central business district and partied prior to watching the draw live.
It's an amazing event, and it's so great that South Africa, and especially Cape Town, has got the opportunity to do this.
At the International Convention Centre, the red carpet was rolled out for the delegations attending the draw. A star-studded lineup of sporting celebrities turned heads, including David Beckham.
You know, it's such a special occasion to be part of, you know, sporting history, and especially in this country. It's a country filled of you know, history all over the years, and to have a World Cup here is special.
Millions of football fans around the world watch the final draw unfold to see the 8 groups be revealed. After the first round, only the top 2 teams in each group stay alive in the competition. Host nation South Africa was joined by Mexico, Uruguay and France in Group A. This group draw was well received by the fans in Cape Town.
I think it was a very favourable draw, particularly to South Africa, though of course it's going to be a very tough one, especially with France. Mexico and Uruguay are teams that South Africa has played before, and I'm sure they are not a closed book to South Africa, and I'm sure they should be able to do well by progressing to the next round.
Group favourite France won the World Cup in 1998 and should comfortably progress through to the second round. In Group B, Argentina and Nigeria will shoot it out with Korea Republic and Greece. 2-time winners Argentina look to be the class act of Group B, whilst Nigeria are expected to progress to the last 16. Korea Republic, known as South Korea, could make a serious challenge for a top 2 place. 2004 European champions Greece returned to the World Cup for the first time since 1994. Group C is expected to be the top rating group, featuring England and the United States, along with Algeria and Slovenia. England are overwhelming favourites to finish top of Group C.
If they don't make it to the playoff now, they'll never make it.
Well, we've been exceptional through this campaign, but you know the good thing about it is when we've played exceptional, we've worked hard and tried to correct the mistakes that we've made and also improve on the good parts of the games.
Beckham will play against LA Galaxy teammate Landon Donovan.
My first thought was David's there. It was probably interesting for him, and it's going to be a great game. Really exciting.
The United States have a good chance of advancing from the group stage. Algeria is back on the world stage after a 24-year absence, while Slovenia may struggle to progress. Group D has been tagged as the Group of Death, pitting Germany, Ghana, Serbia and Australia against each other. Germany share the record for the most World Cup finals with Brazil and are clear favourites. Ghana should progress to the second round.
We gained the confidence in 2006, and once we have the core of our players representing us in 2010 in South Africa, I have the belief and the faith that we're going to repeat similar fate in South Africa.
Serbia should not be taken lightly. Australia made smooth progress through their debut in the Asian qualification competition.
I think it's very hard for them, but I'm optimistic. I think if they go through and put up a good fight, it would be excellent, because it would be great to see us in with a chance of getting a World Cup down here.
I'll give them no chance. I really do.
Group E promises to be one of the tightest in the tournament, bringing together European teams Denmark and the Netherlands. Japan and Cameroon round out the pool. The Netherlands were flawless during the qualifiers.
Cameroon is a difficult one because of the big guys.
Cameroon is the powerhouse team of the African continent and are returning to their competitive best. Denmark returns to the World Cup finals after not qualifying in 2006.
Japan easy target, Holland more difficult.
Japan has the potential to progress to the top 16. Italy, Paraguay, Slovakia and New Zealand landed in Group F. Reigning world champions Italy are standout favourites, whilst the battle for second is expected to be won by Paraguay or Slovakia. New Zealand will have to punch well above their weight to advance.
For Slovakia!
We'll be secretly hoping against that opposition of Paraguay-Slovakia. Maybe there's our chance.
to get a result.
Group G is home to Brazil, Côte d'Ivoire, Portugal and the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. North Korea is likely to finish last in the group. Five-time world champions Brazil are the favourites. The standings of this group may be decided in the opening game when Côte d'Ivoire face off with Portugal.
Since we were the first to discover South Africa, we will be the last to leave, and so of course we will win. Not the championship, but at least the group we will pass.
Last, but by no means least, Spain, Chile, Honduras and Switzerland will compete in Group H. European champions Spain won all 10 of their qualifying matches.
I think that we were lucky. We have an easy group, so we can achieve first place and see later who we're facing in the next round.
The Spaniards will be wary of a red-hot Chile team. Switzerland will look to better their top 16 elimination in 2006. Honduras is playing in their second World Cup. It has been a long road, but the journey is almost complete, with the FIFA World Cup trophy finally on South African soil. US President Barack Obama's intention to attend the event has raised ticket sales and interest around the world. Possibly the best place to gauge South Africa's readiness for the 2010 World Cup are the towering world-class stadiums that bear testament to their ability to host this spectacular event. The eyes of the world will be on the Rainbow Nation come June 11, 2010. And they are ready to shine on the world stage like never before.
I think we're gonna make it. Even though we have critics about our World Cup, we're gonna make it. Our country is so good. It's so good. We're gonna host this World Cup, and it's gonna be successful.
The 2010 FIFA World Cup will be organized in South Africa.